Coming up in this edition of Media McKnight, can radio presenter Christian O'Connell achieve what Kyle and Jackie O haven't been able to do? I'll share my thoughts on why he might just succeed nationally, how the big streamers are taking billions of dollars out of the Australian economy but are paying less tax than you and I. ChatGPT ranks Australia's best and worst presenters. Are the Logies still relevant? I'll reveal what the data shows. And ABC News 24 gets creative and delivers the best opening sequence I've ever seen on Australian TV. Welcome to episode 4 of Media McKnight. Hello, I'm Rob McKnight, bringing you over 30 years' experience in the media industry. Gold FM's Melbourne breakfast show host Christian O'Connell seems to be the little engine that could, while Sydney's beloved breakfast team of Kyle and Jackie O have made a lot of noise about a national expansion. O'Connell has done the unthinkable and beaten them to the punch.
From January next year, we get to break new ground. We'll be the first ever commercial breakfast show to go live to Australia. I actually can't believe I get to say these words. I've been dreaming about this. There hasn't been a day I haven't thought about this for the last 7 years. I can't believe it's actually going to happen. That we are going to actually be a radio show that hopefully, and that's what's in my heart, brings Australia together in the morning. For the last 7 years, we've woken Melbourne up together, and now we're going to be waking up the country one show at a time starting next year. So, yes, Adelaide, Perth, coast to coast, Perth to Brisbane and then Sydney. From Melbourne, this radio show is going live next year. And I couldn't be more excited. It cannot come soon enough next year.
Now, the struggles of the Kyle and Jackie O show in Melbourne have been widely written about, and that has led to plans of a national expansion to be put on hold. Meanwhile, O'Connell is hitting the go button from the start, although there are caveats on how his show will be broadcasting to Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth. While Jonesy and Amanda in Sydney will move to the drive slot to make way for the new show, other markets will only hear the show on DAB+. So in reality, it's really only an expansion into the Sydney market on traditional radio. But will it work? A lot of people will assume the answer to that question would be no, based on the backlash to the Kyle and Jackie O show beaming into Melbourne from Sydney. But what people miss here in this argument is the nuance of parochialism in Melbourne. Still to this day, there is a one-sided feud between Sydney and Melbourne. Melbourne is like the little brother who wants to prove he's better and is constantly comparing himself to Sydney, while Sydney is often oblivious to the ongoing feud. And this isn't a criticism of Melbourne. It's just an observation I've made by many years of working in both markets. Sydney is more accepting of Melbourne content, whereas Melbourne is insulted at the very idea of Sydney bringing its content into their city. Now, that was the biggest hurdle of launching the Kyle and Jackie O show into that market. This is before content even factored into ongoing headlines. ARN also seems to have learned a valuable lesson by moving Jonesy and Amanda to drive instead of axing them. Jason and Lauren were treated very poorly by ARN when they were axed from KISS to make way for Kyle and Jackie O. When Nova picked them up, Melbourne listeners decided to get behind them in a two-fingered salute to the decision-makers in Sydney. By keeping Jonesy and Amanda on the payroll, ARN has avoided negative headlines and allowed for an easier transition for O'Connell's advertiser-friendly show. While I don't think he will be knocking Kyle and Jackie O from the top of the ratings ladder anytime soon in Sydney, there's no doubt O'Connell is a smart operator who brings a wealth of knowledge to Australia from his time as a household name in the UK. His show is very enjoyable and will certainly provide an alternative in Sydney. One of the ongoing issues in the media world is the billions of dollars international streamers are taking from Australia while paying very little tax. On Monday night, Mark Riley at 7 News had an exclusive report detailing a deal between the G7 and the Trump administration. It turns out the leaders buckled to the president's threats of revenge tariffs, agreeing US-parented groups would be exempt from a global agreement to force multinationals like big tech companies to pay a minimum 15% tax.
Our parliament passed laws in December to levy the so-called Pillar 2 taxes, now effectively scuttled by Donald Trump. It could end up costing Australia $370 million in lost tax revenues. But with tens of billions at stake in Trump's tariff war, the government might be reluctant to complain.
It looks like now that Australia will join the G7 in caving in.
US tech giants made $15 billion in Australia last year and paid just $254 million in tax, an effective rate of just 1.7%, way below the 25% average on Australian workers.
So percentage-wise, these multinational companies are paying less tax than you and I. That doesn't seem like a good deal for Australia to me. Last week, I brought you my list of the best and worst TV presenters on Australian television. While lists like that can be controversial, most of the comments about the list agreed with my selection. So this week, I asked ChatGPT to compile a list of its own and provide reasons. What it showed was that news articles play a big part in how AI technology compiles information. So here we go, the top 5 most popular Australian TV presenters according to ChatGPT. Hamish Blake, and this is what it said. Widely regarded as Australia's most popular TV personality in recent public polls, particularly highlighted by news.com.au's Australia's Favourite TV Star piece, which crowned him based on over 20,000 public votes. Next up, we have Po Ling Yao. A social and scientific metrics-based analysis singled her out as a strong frontrunner for the Gold Logie in 2025. Well, that didn't work out. She frequently ranks at or very near the top in popularity measures. Sonia Kruger, current host of The Voice Australia and Big Brother Australia. Well, it's a bit behind the times. Kruger was awarded the Gold Logie for Most Popular Personality in 2023 and remains highly visible and influential across major network events. Julia Morris, host of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and a Gold Logie nominee. Julia is regularly cited as a top-tier personality in TV awards and public sentiment. Ali Langdon, anchor of A Current Affair and nominee in the public voted categories at the 2025 Logies. Langdon consistently ranks among the most popular figures in Australian television journalism. So obviously, I asked ChatGPT before the Logies, so I wonder how different that would be now that we know the results. And while that list is slightly different to my own, it's not a bad list. It's the ultimate Logies tradition, isn't it? People claiming the annual event isn't relevant. But is that actually true? Well, let's go to the ratings. On Sunday night, an average audience of 1.425 million watched the awards where home and away actress Lynn McGranger took out the Gold Logie. That's an impressive result. While it wasn't the biggest show of the night, any network would be happy to have an audience of 1.4 million, especially when the show goes late into the night. The block on Channel 9 provided a strong alternative though, notching up 1.3 million. 7 News and 9 News took out the top spots with 1.57 million and 1.45 million respectively. So in my humble opinion, yes, the Logies are still relevant, and anyone who says otherwise is quite frankly talking through their bum. And while I'm talking Logies, I love this bit of comedy from the ABC's Tom Gleeson. After seeing this headline on news.com.au declaring Logies producers not happy as Tom Gleeson improvised graphic wank joke, the comedian took to social media and reposted a screenshot of the headline, adding a simple message. I'll rewrite the headline. Comedian performs comedy. I'd say that's a very fair point. It's always interesting to see how opinions can change when people change jobs. Take the case of ABC Managing Director Hugh Marks, formerly the CEO of Nine. 5 years ago, Marks declared the ABC shouldn't be entitled to payment for content deals with the likes of Meta and Google under the News Bargaining Code. But now the Australian reports Marks is distancing himself from those comments. Back in 2020, Marks told a Senate hearing the ABC should not be able to participate in a commercial sense in effectively a model designed to deal with commercial interruption. When asked last week by the paper on whether he had changed his mind, Marks apparently avoided the question, instead deferring to a spokesperson. The ABC already has a significant presence on social platforms and would like to have the opportunity to build those relationships even further to benefit Australians who use them, the spokesperson said. The ABC has a pivotal role to play with government, other media outlets and digital platforms to ensure all Australians have access to reliable and trustworthy news and information, and we look forward to engaging proactively with all stakeholders. Look, it's not unusual for opinions to change depending on the job you have. As CEO of Nine, Marks was looking out for the commercial interests of that company. Now that he's at the ABC, his worldview has shifted to protect the organisation he is in charge of. While it would seem he now has to argue against himself, he's absolutely doing the right thing in fighting hard for the national broadcaster. Sometimes you see something on TV where you just sit back and think, well done to whoever did that. Such was the case when I was watching ABC News 24 on Tuesday morning during the 10 a.m. opener. Host Gemma Vaness previewed the news headlines with a choreographed walk around the new Parramatta studios. As Vaness changed topics, she made her way to a different screen which showed images from the story being discussed. At one point, the camera slightly fell behind, but on the whole, it was great to see innovation of this type, and everyone involved should be congratulated.
New South Wales Police say the two are known to each other. EV giant Tesla has awarded its CEO Elon Musk $44 billion in shares to keep him in the job. And that's despite the company struggling with falling sales and a slumping stock market value. And the Demons part ways with coach Simon Goodwin, just 4 years after he led the team to a drought-breaking AFL premiership. It's Tuesday, the 5th of August. I'm Gemma Vaness from the land of the Darug people in Parramatta in Western Sydney. This is ABC News Mornings.
Seriously, I just love it. Well done, guys. And that brings us to the end of this edition of Media McKnight. Don't forget, new episodes stream every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time at youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. And members of the YouTube page get early access. I'll be back tomorrow night with another episode of McKnight Tonight. It streams every Monday, Wednesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. It's a different take on the news of the day. I hope to see you then. Cheers.